we're going to do is a little tree surgery right now to help it happen.
Oh, unbelievable. I never knew that. Wow. I didn't even pay attention that you actually put it together.
So usually when you go and get a tree, you'll see like a big stub here, or like a knot, or like a bulge right here, and that's the part that they grafted. So what I'm trying to do right now, the goal of this little surgery, if you look right underneath the bark, you see that light green layer that wraps around? It's a tiny little layer right under the bark. That is the cambium layer, which has the xylem and the phloem. It's pretty much the entire lifeblood of the tree. It's the only part of the tree that's alive, where there's fluids moving. The bark on the outside and the heartwood on the inside, they don't have the fluids moving. This is what brings all the nutrients and water up from the roots, and all the sugars in the water back down from the leaves into the trees and the roots. So our goal is to connect the xylem, phloem, and cambium, which they call the cambium layer, with the rootstock up into this right here. And if these two cambium layers can touch, we can get them to snug into each other, they'll start healing together and they'll form one tree.
Look at it. Transplant or like
A little open up here. This is called a cleft graft.
it's a graft basically, yeah.
Do you only use that graft when you're starting from rootstock, or when you're adding different varieties to it?
You can use it for both. You can use it for both. It's a great graft for the apples. Apples and pears do really well, and plums do really well with this graft. Push that down in there. Now, if we put it in, it looks good, but if the cambium layers don't line up, we need cambium to cambium contact. That's what it's all about. So we'll take a look at that and see if we squeeze it together. If we get some good contact. You'll see all along this side it's perfectly flush. I prefer to see it perfectly flush on both sides.
Yeah.
Now one side is enough. If you get it to stick in just one spot,
Yeah.
it usually works with the apple tree, because the apple tree is a very forgiving. Because I'm not going to be around at your house, we're going to try to make it so it's flush on both sides. There you are. Now we see on this, see how it's squeezing together on both sides?
Yeah.
You're getting it. And we're going to use a little tape to tape it up and squeeze it together even more. And we're going to wish for the best. Now they're not 100%, certain that it's going to take. Usually it's about, for me I'm about 90% now at this point. But even with beginners doing this for the first time, they can get as good as 40–50% if they just pay attention and make sure it all lines up.
It's like microscopic surgery.
So now I'm going to take the tape and I'm going to wrap it around to squeeze it in. This is your first time here at Full Circle?
No, we live very close to
All
here.
right.
Sometimes I volunteer in the back.
So now, once we have this far right here, we've squeezed it in so it's all pushed together. We have one other piece we need to do here. Is we only really need one of these buds. Now, if you have too few buds, let's say you only have one bud and for some reason that bud wasn't healthy, that's your only shot and it wouldn't grow. But if you put too many buds, it's going to have only this little energy from these roots. It's going to try to make all these different buds shoot, and it's too much work and it's not going to take. So usually we leave two. We leave one and then one insurance bud. That's our favorite strategy. Make a little cut here.
Right there. Planting trees. Apples.
Now, is that step not as crucial if you're grafting onto an already existing tree?
It's still a good idea. 2 to 3 buds is all you need.
What is that?
What is the tape? The tape is squeezing it together. Now this right here is a little bit of sealant, and it makes it so it doesn't dry out. Because we just made these big cuts on the tree.
What kind of sealant is it?
It's called tree sealant.
Okay.
Raisins are yucky? Uh-huh.
You don't like grapes?
Alright. And then the last step is we always think we're going to remember everything until the end of time. And so sometimes we forget this part. But my experience is the next day I'm like, what kind of apple was that again? So we make sure that we make a little tag. And for years I made tags and wrote them out with markers. But I learned that markers disappear after a year. So this kind of tag right here is an aluminum tag, and we're going to engrave it right in there.